So recently my roommate and I got talking about Apple, Tesla, and GM. I believe the conversation started with Apple declaring its first loss in 7 years, which led me to asking whether or not he thought that one day we would all wear Apple Watches or not. He thought absolutely not, which was also my initial impression when they released. The Apple Watch is sleek, sophisticated, techy, but it lacks what makes watches watches, which is sophisticated vintage style. Watches are, above all, luxury goods that are more style pieces than functional in today's society, since there are digital clocks everywhere we look. It seemed promising, the Apple Watch. After all, in a lot of respects, Apple is a luxury brand. Its products are sleek, seamless, elegant, and expensive. Apple products make a statement in contrast to their main competitor Droid's products, which offer arguably more functionality in exchange for aesthetics. The Apple Watch is a classic example of overpromising and underdelivering. Apple has had an incredible streak for providing high-quality, innovative products that ended with the release of the Apple Watch. For as little as $50, I got a very nice, not-too-flashy watch from Tommy Hilfiger a couple years ago. Apple Watches cost anywhere from $300 to an absolutely outrageous price of $15,000. For even their lowest tier of pricing, they offer little as far as fashion statements go, and even less as far as functionality goes. This may be a turning point in the life of Apple, as their coveted past innovations have seemed to all but stifled. So we continue talking about what Apple should do to stay on top. If you look at Apple's September 26, 2015 balance sheet, it is sitting on a heaping pile of $21 billion in cash and cash equivalents, which is an astronomical amount of money to have in cash. To put it into context, with all of their assets combined, Netflix is only worth $10 billion, so Apple could buy Netflix twice over with merely the cash that it has on hand. A lot of people say that would be stupid, and I'm inclined to agree, but we don't know why Apple is sitting on so much cash that is worth more when it's being put to good use. And here's where we get to Tesla and GM. A couple years back, you may have heard that Tesla officially released all of their patents for their batteries to the public domain in an effort to incentivize other automotive companies to switch to clean energy. Or so that's their story. So now companies like General Motors can use those patents to create cars that run on the same types of batteries as Tesla cars. The fact begs the question, will Tesla last long in the competitive space when they are going up against a juggernaut such as GM? Tesla Motors has assets totaling $8 billion, whereas GM has assets totaling $194 billion. GM could buy Tesla twice over with merely their cash, much like Apple could buy Netflix twice with theirs. So how will Tesla compete against companies like GM, who have exponentially more resources to put toward creating exponentially better and exponentially more numerous electronic vehicles? I'm certainly not qualified to answer this question confidently, and I don't think that Elon Musk is either. However, here's a little illustration of the situation and why Tesla has made it as far as they have. Think of these two companies as water vessels. Tesla is a little tugboat, and GM is a 1200 by 161 foot cargo ship. GM left port a long time ago and has been heading south ever since, but here comes Tesla, the little tugboat. They're at port and they decided it would be better to head north instead of south because north is where the future of the shipping business is going. So Tesla leaves port and heads north. GM reaches their destination in the south to find that they have to pay crazy tariffs to sell their goods, and that people in the south are growing less and less interested in what GM has to sell. So GM decides to start shipping to the north, which requires this 1,200 foot long monstrosity to do a 180 and head north. As you can imagine, it takes an enormous amount of time and effort to turn a ship that large around so that it can head in a completely different direction. And even when it finally gets turned around, Tesla is still way ahead of them. Is it a matter of time before GM starts pumping out high quality and affordable electric cars? Or do you think that Tesla will always remain one step ahead of GM and other car makers? What about Apple? What do you think of the future of Apple, and what do you think they need to do to get back to the greats that they have fallen from? Let me know in the comments section. If you enjoyed this little analysis that I've put together, and if you're looking for a business blog to follow on YouTube, please click the subscribe button below to tune into the content that I'll be pushing out here in the coming months. I will be handling all sorts of topics about business, such as current events, business icons, business practices, and more. As always, thank you everybody for watching, and I'll see you next time.